Good afternoon everyone. So today welcome you for coming to this presentation for how to write a good article. So this presentation is not going to be very long, so we'll try to finish in 30 minutes. And also we're going to have one example in class also, so it's going to be interesting, hopefully. And this is going to be our agenda for today. So first of all, we're talking about why we need to write a good article in our lives. And the second part is how to write a good article in 3 steps. So we try to make everything as simple as possible. So we hope by the end of this presentation you will learn something useful and you will use it in your life. So rather than nothing too much information, we're trying to put the most important point in this presentation. And then the third step, we're having the one quick example. It's going to be something sweet and short, so hopefully you're going to enjoy it. And we're having some extra additional notes about what you can do to polish your words and these kind of things for your articles. And then the last part is going to be the questions and answers. So this is generally what we're going to do for today for this presentation. So let's get started. Right. So why we need to write articles? Why we need to write good articles? We write things every day, from text messages to novels, if you like it, to your thesis, to emails, everything you're going to write articles. But however, not everyone can write a good flowing article. This example here, as you can see, is kind of cheesy. I mean, like girls maybe like this kind of things a lot. But actually, if you can write something really creatively, I mean, you can win the hearts of good-looking guys or girls in this way. So it's very important to know how to write a good article. Okay. So before you set your pen and pencils, so first of all, maybe we're thinking about getting your inspirations. So how can you get your inspirations? We suggest 2 things. One is from your real life, another from your imaginative life, like imaginations. Where can you get these kind of things? I mean, everyone knows, from the music you're listening can be a piece of gospel music or something pop music, anything you like it. Or maybe when you're reading a really good book and you're feeling something, the emotion for the actors in this book, or some sentences really inspire your life. So these kind of things can give you really good inspirations for writing even better articles. So now let's start our first step to write a good article. Step 1, study and research. So before you're doing anything, before even you start, the first thing you're going to think is what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. So this is the importance of planning how you're going to say it. And also, in general, how long the article is going to be. For newspaper and magazines, it's around 500 to 750 words. Basically, this is not a huge essay for anything. Because the thing is, if you're writing something very long, and you try to, there's a really good probability of losing the concentration part of your article. And then maybe when people are reading this article, they're losing their interest. Even you're writing something so fantastic, so interesting, but if this gets too long, you're having this kind of probabilities. So if you can try to squeeze your words a little bit, and you can put all the spirits in the articles, people will like it more in a way. So, and step 2, after studying research, you should think and then write. We put think first and then write. So it's still the importance of planning before you're doing any writings. So first of all, putting yourself in the position of the reader. It sounds really simple and straightforward, and there's nothing special about it, but for example, when you're trying to write something about your recipes, for example, for cooking something, you know how to cook it. But for your potential readers, they may not know how to cook it. So you try to write things in a really clear way. So you put yourself in the position of you don't know how to cook these things. And then you give the instructions for people who can do it with the following. So this is important, and sometimes it's too straightforward and too simple, and people they forget about it in a way. But before you actually write it, think first. This is one important point about it. And also, the first words of the article is very important. This doesn't mean like the first sentence in the article should be perfectly polished or with perfect grammar, with very big words. It doesn't mean like that. But the first few words of your articles in each paragraph should be the spirit of what you're trying to say. We don't want to put lots of information into one paragraph or in one article, because as all of us know that, if we're having too much information, that equals to zero information. You're not learning anything from it. So we only want to know the most important part. So try to summarize and conclude your words into one or two very important, short and interesting words in this way. And also plan logically. As soon as we start this conversation, we're talking about plan over and over again. So now we're stressing and stressing it. So the plan is very important, and also the logical of behind this writing article is very important also, because you try to link your sentences from the first, link to the second, to the third, to the fourth. So there's also another thing we can talk about. Is like, for example, writing a good article is like living a life. I mean, you don't know what's happening to the next, but you're still living currently. But what you're doing now will affect your future plans. So what you're writing now for this sentence will affect the future sentence. You try to link all each sentences with logics. So plan your words logically. And then this is the basic part and basic requirements for any articles. Is you have to make sure that your sentences are well structured, which means they should be logical, clear, make sense, and also your grammar should be correct. And we're talking about this more in the following steps. Okay, this is the last step of your writing article, is reread and finish. We're talking about reread. We're not really bored of saying it too many times, because reread is very important. If you write an article maybe only for, let's say, like 200 words. It's very short, but you have to reread maybe more than 20 times to get it perfectly. But this is not even enough. Maybe you have to ask your friends to do the pre-reading of yours, because if you self-read it too much, you cannot even realize the very small mistakes for so many times. So reread and ask your friend to do the pre-reading for you. It's going to be very important. And polish it up by changing the words and inspirations. Even when we're talking, like using the oral English or your mother languages, we tend to use the same words all the time. So in the articles, you don't want to say the important very often or essential very often. If you say it all the time, it gets boring, obviously. So if this time you say it's important, next time you can say it's essential, next time it's necessary. So you try to polish your words using the different ways of saying it, basically. And also ensure the article reads quickly and easily. This is also the way of rearranging your pictures and the figures to make sure you're putting yourself at the position of the readers, and you want to read it like a really flowing, really easy, quick piece, rather than something long and boring. And then this is again, you should examine your sentences and paragraphs carefully to ensure everything is flowing very well. So basically, this is the main ideas about how we're going to write a good article in 3 steps. But I'm pretty sure everyone from Politecnico, students, you're very smart enough and you know everything already. But let's try to put it in exercises. We're having a very short one. So we can think about writing a short conversation between one eraser and a pencil. So what we want for this exercise is you try to put yourself as one eraser and also a pencil, and you try to make a conversation between them. Now you can have maybe 1 or 2 minutes to think about it, and I will ask you what you think. Is it okay? Is it clear? Yes. If you want to ask some more questions about this topic, you can. But the only thing you know now is your eraser and also your pencil, and you're trying to make a talk between them. So, how are you going to do it? Some ideas? Yes, please.
Okay, the pencils, the eraser side set, which I have done recently, and the pencil set, what I have done is the eraser is cancelled by you. What you have done?
That's a very good one. That's a very good one. Thank you very much. Some other ideas?
Yeah, maybe at the beginning we should define, like, do they help each other? Like, for example, the pencil is writing something and the eraser can cancel it, or the eraser can destroy everything that pencil is creating.
Sounds very good. How do you think the relationship, the eraser and the pencil? Because we try to make a story from this conversation. After the conversation, we want to know what's happening between them. It should be something interesting about this. So think. Because now we learned all your ideas, which is very fantastic. Because first of all, you try to think from the role of our actors. Eraser, what the eraser is doing, what the pencil is doing. Pencil is doing the writings, and the eraser's job is trying to cancel everything, trying to erase everything. So basically, we're having this point started perfectly. Now we want to dig a little bit down. So that's their jobs. But then, what's the relationship? Why they're doing this? We're trying to make a story this. Because for writing an article, we have to plan it logically. So this is the first step. And then from this logic, what is the linkage of it? What you're going to say next? So think about it, use your wild imagination about this conversation. So think a little bit more.
I know more.
Yes?
Maybe it's a conversation between the student and the pencil. The eraser asked the pencil, come to remember today is our 1 year anniversary.
Yes.
And the pencil answered like, oh, I don't remember because you have erased it like 1 year before.
That is fantastic. This is something you wanted though. Some more ideas. Thank you so much. That was really fantastic. That was really good actually. Yes. Some more? So you assume both of them are in a relationship. Yes, that's very good. What about the others? Maybe they can be enemies. One is always trying to write something, the other one is always trying to kill it. So this is another way of thinking about this. And what else?
The eraser can tell the pencil, you know that I can beat you at every time. And he says, why? Because I can wipe you out any time I want. Something like this.
Yes? Yes, that's good. Yes. Okay. I don't think my example was as interesting as yours, but we'll see. You know, I'm really sorry. For what, my darling pencil? You get hurt because of me. Whenever I make a mistake, you're always there to erase it, but you're getting smaller and smaller. That's true, but I don't really mind. I was made to help you whenever you do something wrong. Even if you replace me with someone new, I'm still happy that I have done what I need to do.
Love story.
It's a love story, as you can see. But actually, it's kind of, it's not really big or smart topic to talk about. Maybe it's something really short. But just to divide from the role of the characters, and you can actually write small stories about it. This is how you started. And maybe the inspiration you like is very tiny, but it depends on how you think and how you feel. So basically, this is the main message about why we're doing this kind of small exercises in this class. And some additional notes. We were saying you need to have very good words to get it started, so people will read it. And also you need to have a strong summary to round it off, so people, by the reading of them, they will be reading lots and lots of words. By the end of it, they will catch the main messages again. So the summary of your article, or the conclusion of your article, is very important also. And also you're trying to add in a little bit your personal touch, a bit of your personality, because it's not like everyone are scientists or engineers. So we want to see the real you from what articles you're writing is going to make it more interesting. And also, you should let a bit of the real you coming out. It's kind of similar to the second step, but a little of your unique work of art, something uniqueness about yourself, can also be put into the articles. And people have different views, even for the birds. But please be brave to express your ideas. Don't be afraid and try to write something you think is important. Your looks really good. And carefully reference everything. And remember this. So you have to do the references properly, everything. And yes. So what we're trying to do here in these 20 minutes is trying to give you some guidelines about how to write an article. But it's just like this. We will say we're trying to teach you something, maybe we say we're trying to draw some circles, but it doesn't mean you can draw it out like this. So the main message is you have to practice yourself and getting more things from yourself rather than learning something. But what we're here, we're trying to stressing the most important part in how to write an article. But we cannot help you to be a writer in the future life. But these are some really important guidelines. So now you know the main messages about everything, and maybe you can start to write a good article to EMAG, because now we're doing this magazine, as most of you know this. And maybe you can start writing your first article to us. And yes, good luck and happy writing. That's it. Thank you very much indeed. And now is the question time. If you have any questions about EMAG or how to write an article, anything, it will be